Today, we are going to chat about one of the biggest mistakes that new moms make, and that is not taking care of themselves once the baby is born. I think we all understand how important prenatal nutrition and prenatal care is. But in this country and in modern culture, it's almost like once the baby's born, then we forget all about the mom, even when mom is breastfeeding, which, there's actually a much higher demand on mom when she's breastfeeding. Even if you just want to simplify it without getting into, the details and the numbers as far as caloric demand, think about this. If you exclusively breastfeed for the first 6 months, all of the weight that the baby is putting on is coming from you. So, you were nurturing a 7 or 8 pound baby in your belly at the end of your pregnancy. Now you are growing, a 15 or 16 pound baby, a baby that's double that size with just your body, just the nutrition that they're getting from you. So that is such a great demand on a mom's body. But, I think there's something about when we're pregnant and we can't see inside and we want to just be extra careful with everything that we do and make sure we're getting all of our nutrients. But it's like once that baby's born and we can see that everything's okay, then our nutrition and our caring for our body, even though we're still nurturing that baby through breastfeeding, it's almost like that just gets completely put to the wayside. So the first thing that is such a big mistake that we make, not only in pregnancy, but definitely in the postpartum period, is skimping on protein intake. Even women who are not pregnant should be eating 1 gram of protein for like your ideal body weight in pounds, about that, give or take. I definitely believe that genetics play a factor. Everybody's different. You need to find what works for you, but that's a really just good place to start, is eat 1 gram of protein for how much you should weigh. And most women aren't even coming close to that. Let's just say a woman weighs 150 pounds, an average woman should weigh, let's say, 150 pounds or something like that. I don't know. But most women are barely getting 50 grams of protein. This is something that I have found I have to be intentional about, especially in seasons when I am doing an elimination diet to get through an autoimmune flare-up or to work on gut healing. I really have to plan ahead if I want to hit my protein goals every day. Now, animal products are obviously an easy way to hit those protein goals, but there are, you don't have to just sit around eating meat all day. There are other ways to hit your protein goals. If you can tolerate eggs, that's obviously a great way to get your protein in. In fact, right now I'm making sourdough crepes for the kids. I still have not reintroduced grains or eggs into my diet because my flare-up hasn't passed yet. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm in the midst of an autoimmune flare-up. This is the 3rd time this has happened to me in the postpartum season, and I've made a few videos about that, so I will link those for you guys. But I'm on more of a restricted diet right now. This isn't something that will last forever. This will pass for me, but the kids can have their sourdough crepes. This is one of my favorite high-protein, meatless breakfasts. So this would be a really good one for those of you who fast on Fridays. Okay, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll get back to chatting here. Let's talk about Thrive Market. You all know that I love my Thrive Market. Thrive is an online grocery store with all the things that you would get if you went to your local grocery store, but it's all healthier options. So your groceries, your toiletries, skincare, household items, just all the things that you need when you go grocery shopping, except you don't have to spend a ton of time scanning labels and making sure that you're bringing healthy products into your home. You know, as the mom, you're the gatekeeper of the home. You're the one who's responsible for making sure that you're feeding your family healthy things, you're getting healthy, you know, toiletries, skincare, just all the things. And that can be such a heavy job when labels are like a mile long and you can't read anything on the labels of the food and products that you're buying. Well, with Thrive, that's just not a problem. They've done all of the heavy lifting. They have banned over 1,000 toxic ingredients to date. And I love that I can just get on my Thrive app on my phone, load up my cart with everything that I need, check out, and in just a few days, I will have a big box at my door with all the things I ordered, and the labels will all be clean. It'll be just like real food, you know? So just, for example, this hot sauce, habanero sauce that I got, carrots, reading the ingredients, carrots, onions, habanero peppers, distilled vinegar, garlic, cane sugar, tangerine juice, salt, lime juice. Like, I can read those things, they're real food. That is all that's in there. And that's true for all of Thrive's products, which just makes my job so much easier. Like I said, my other favorite things about Thrive, I love their free shipping. So every order over $49 ships for free, and it's carbon neutral shipping. It ships from a zero waste warehouse. So I do like to see that companies are at least making an effort to be environmentally friendly while still offering convenient options. Thrive Market also does price match. So, you know, if you see something that you're gonna order regularly and you find it cheaper somewhere else, then they will match that low price. Thrive Market offers a couple of membership options. If you just want to try it out, then you can just do a monthly membership. It's $12 a month, and you can order as often or as infrequently as you like. That doesn't lock you into anything. But if you're really liking it, then you can do the annual membership. It's $59.95 a year, which that is less than half the price of the local grocery delivery service that I used to do. So it is a great time to try Thrive Market. They have their 25% off back to school essential sale that starts on the 19th. So you can get 25% off so many items on top of the offer that they have for Hopewell Heights subscribers. When you join Thrive Market using my link, thrivemarket.com/Hopewell Heights, you will get 30% off your first order plus a free gift worth up to $60. And then you can shop all the back to school essential sale items, like I said, 25% off. Plus, for every paid annual membership, Thrive Market donates a membership to a family in need. So I absolutely love that they offer that to people who are wanting to get healthier but just might not have that option financially. So if you want to learn more about Thrive Market, click the more button below the video. I will put my link and more details in the description. I know you are going to love Thrive Market. Now, this recipe, these sourdough crepes, this is something that looks like a huge indulgence, but it's actually not, because the crepes are just sourdough starter, like fully fermented sourdough starter, plus eggs. So 6 eggs and some sourdough starter. So very high protein, especially since I'm using ancient grain now. So good quality whole grain there. And then for the filling, it's just cream cheese, some whipped cream, and just a tablespoon of maple syrup. So very lightly sweetened. You know, one of the really good things about my husband and kids doing like a 6-week grain and sugar detox a while back is that it allowed us to really recalibrate our taste for added sugars. And like I said, I don't have anything against added sugars. I just think we overdo it a lot. So I'm plating this up for pictures for the blog. This recipe is already on the blog, but I thought I would add some new pictures as well. So you can find my sourdough crepes at hopewellheightsblog.com. Now, I briefly mentioned fasting. You know, this would be a good meatless, high protein breakfast for Fridays if you fast. So as far as fasting goes, that would be another mistake that new moms make, is unintentional fasting, meaning you get so busy, so caught up that you are essentially running on fumes. And by fumes, I mean coffee. It is so easy to do. I love my coffee, but you know, you get up, you drink your coffee, and you're taking care of the baby, and next thing you know, it's noon or 1 or later, and you haven't eaten anything. And you're just kind of feeling frazzled, and you know, you're just not feeling so hot. So fasting, by the way, this is my SIBO yogurt. You guys have seen this a few times by now, but I'm, like I said, still in that gut healing process. So I'm still having my SIBO yogurt for breakfast every morning, dressing it up, jazzing it up. I've got like almond butter, berries, chocolate chips. So very satiating gut healing breakfast here. But I'm not necessarily against intentional, especially religious fasting when you're pregnant or breastfeeding, but it needs to be intentional. It can't be just that you're forgetting to eat. The babies are napping, so we are going to do some cooking. I need to get dinner going. It's about 1 in the afternoon. I'm making a big pork roast here that I've had thawing in the fridge. That's, one of my tricks is just always have meat thawing in the fridge. If I have meat thawed out, I can come up with something. Although I have started meal planning recently, and it's actually going well. It's something that I've never done in all my years of motherhood, but it's going well. Anyway, so I've got the pork roast thawed out. I'm gonna get that going in the crock pot. And then I need to make some sauerkraut. So I've got my cabbage here. After I get the sauerkraut going, which that takes no time at all, then I'm gonna try to get to my cucumbers. I have a big basket over on the table full of cucumbers, and I need to make pickles. We're gonna ferment some pickles. So let's get started. I'm just gonna mix up a little rub here for the pork roast. No recipe, just salt, plenty of salt. I do not go light on the salt. As long as when you use a good quality salt, it's just such an important part of your diet. Salt is full of essential minerals that we need for lots of body functions. I've got some garlic powder here. Add that in. And then my daughter's out in the garden. She's getting me some herbs. I don't really feel like chopping up all the herbs. And I need to get going because, like I said, the babies are asleep and I got to take advantage. So this is smoked paprika. I will just throw the herbs, like a bouquet of herbs, in the crock pot, but I'm not chopping them up. I'm not going to take the time to do that. Okay, so I got some onion here. So this is just salt, onion, garlic, paprika, and I guess I should do a little black pepper. And then I'll chop up some onions, throw those in the crock pot, rub the roast down. There's my daughter with the herbs. Rub the roast down, throw it in, and then I'm set for dinner so that I can get started on my fermentation projects. Oh, just time? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I've got my pork roast here, so I'm just gonna rub this down with my mix that I made before I put it in the crock pot. We are all, usually pretty diligent about taking either a prenatal vitamin or prenatal supplements and probiotics when we're pregnant, just to make sure that everything goes okay, growing the baby and with the birth, and to try to increase our odds of swabbing negative for group B strep, if that's something you do. I don't even do that, but we're just so much more diligent when we're pregnant. And then there is the fact that when you're pregnant, your body just takes care of the baby. It's passive, it's not active. And then the baby comes, and that is active duty. You are on active duty caring for that baby. It's a lot of work. You're trying to recover from the birth, and all of that good prenatal nutrition and attention and care, just kind of gets left in the dust all too often. And this really isn't the mom's fault. This is why mothers need to be taken care of. Like, mothers need to be mothered when they have a new baby, no matter how many babies they have. They need to be cared for so that they can focus on that new baby. But that's just not the culture we live in. So, we are all doing our best trying to care for our home, our other children, and the baby. And we often just put ourselves last. And, I don't mean to confuse this with the toxic modern idea of self care that every woman deserves 5 pedicures a week and 7 massages and shopping spree and this and that. Like, that's not what we're talking about. If you've been here a while and you're hanging around this channel, I know that's not who you are. That's not who I am. We're not expecting these outrageous things, but we do need basic self-care. We need to shower. We need to be able to brush our teeth. Just get dressed for the day, and we really need to meet our nutritional needs. So we'll get back to this chat, but let's move on to one of the most basic things we can do for our health, which is home ferments. Now, a lot of times I just forget the camera's rolling, so I was talking my daughter through this, explaining what we were doing, so I don't know how well you'll be able to hear, but I'll just let that play and you can hear me talk her through the process of making one of the most basic ferments, which is sauerkraut. Okay, so you need this one. If there's any leaves on the outside, they're like nasty, just throw them to the side, we'll save them, I'll show you why. But we're gonna start here, and we are gonna start by halving the cabbage. You know how coleslaw looks and how sauerkraut looks? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna cut it right then. So first we're gonna cut off the bottom part. See the scraps set aside. The bottom part? Yep. Okay, so like that. See this middle here? Yeah, it's that tough part. Cool. I'll cut that out. Watch, Mom. Watch me. So, oh, so, and we're gonna cut them. So see, we just quartered them like an apple. Alright. Okay, now take a quarter and real thin. It's like slicing cheese. See, look. Now look at all these thin strips I just made. That's what's gonna be our sauerkraut. We want to take your time. It's not a race. We want to go thin. Like, you better rather be too thin, too thick. If you're too thick, you can't really go back and slice them. You know what I'm saying? Because your section doesn't need to be in the case. Just back in the old days, they plant their cabbage in the spring to be ready in the summer. And how would they save it and make it good all winter? Ferment it? Ferment it, yeah. So fermenting is just, what happens to something after you pick it? It dies, like flour? So after you pick food, it's gonna start dying. Well, fermenting is just controlling that dying process to slow it way down and grow good bacteria that can feed your body well. And so they do this, they ferment it in big crocks, put it in their root cellar in their basement where it stayed cold, and that would last them till the next year. Sauerkraut is a great first ferment. All you do is just cut your cabbage up, and then you're going to put it in a big bowl and add some salt. So you want 2 teaspoons per pound of cabbage. You can just eyeball it if you want. You don't have to weigh it, but about 2 teaspoons per pound. And you just toss your cabbage in a big bowl or pot in the salt, and then set it to the side for like 30 to 60 minutes to sweat. It will draw out the moisture, and that will really help. The cabbage will be kind of like in its own brine for when you go to pack it into jars to start to ferment it. So we were doing some math here. I told her we had 5 pounds of cabbage and it was 2 teaspoons per pound. So I made her do that math and figure out how much salt we needed. So we have that setting to the side. My husband came in, and the baby, has really, really good head control by now. So that's usually when my husband will start to take them out around the farm a little bit. They still don't want to be gone from me for too long, but he likes to take them outside and just get used to being with him and to going around the farm, and it's really, really sweet. Plus, it just gives me, even if it's just like a half an hour, it's just kind of nice because I can go around and get some stuff done real quick. So as you can see, this massive pile of cucumbers that we let go way too long. These are pickling cucumbers from our garden, but ideally you want to pick them when they're a lot smaller. That way they stay more crisp. They're much better for pickling when they're really, really small. But I wasn't gonna put these to waste, so I figured I would just do like a quick countertop ferment with these in a huge jar, and then we would eat these pickles like throughout the week. You can really ferment like almost any vegetable, and you don't need a specific recipe. Really, you just need salt water and your vegetable. Now, obviously, it's, a lot more fun to add different spices or herbs, or, like I added onions and garlic cloves into these pickles. Gosh, what else did I put in there? I wasn't really paying too much attention, but bay leaves, of course, salt, whole peppercorns, mustard seed, coriander, think I did something spicy too. And dill, of course, dill. So yeah, you can just get creative there. And here's a lovely view of my scrap bucket outside. Always saving our scraps. That way they can get turned into eggs or bacon, because we feed our scraps to our pigs and chickens. And that's just a great way to recycle. I know that nothing is ever going to waste, and that really is a good feeling, just to be able to utilize everything that comes through this kitchen. Like, we do not throw food away under any circumstance. If we have bones, they go to the dogs. Scraps, like I said, to the pigs and chickens. And, that's really the way it was supposed to be. We're not supposed to be putting food in the trash. Of course, I'm not here to be the recycling czar, because I do have trash. We do use a trash service. I'd like to not have to do that. And I don't know, rewind however far you have to go back to where we just didn't have such a throwaway culture, but maybe we'll get there in the future, right? Like, take the best of the technology that we have and, get rid of the bad parts and kind of go back to the more sustainable ways. I don't know. Who knows what's in the future? But anyway, my sauerkraut is ready to go. It's ready to be packed here. So I have about two huge cabbages, which came out to about 5 pounds of sliced cabbage, packed into this big gallon jar. So if you were just going to do one big cabbage, a half gallon would work. If when I do a small cabbage, I just do a quart jar and it works just fine. And I did not add any water. This is all the water that was drawn out of the cabbage by the salt, and I just packed um packed it all down into the jar until everything was submerged. That is the key when you're fermenting things. You want all of your, vegetables or whatever you're fermenting submerged in the brine, because if it's exposed to air, then it will mold. So you can buy a special fermentation weight, or you can just get creative. Like, I don't have fermentation weights. I just used one of the cabbage leaves, the big ones that I had saved at the beginning that I peeled off, to kind of hold all the little pieces down in the brine. And then I took a small little half pint mason jar full of water and put a lid on it, and that's my weight. Now, I do have fermentation lids, like special lids, but not that would fit a gallon jar. So I just put the lid on this, and it's called burping it. So every couple of days, every day or two, I will open that lid and let some air escape, and then put the lid back on. But you can buy special fermentation, lids. It almost looks kind of like a nipple to a bottle, and it lets air out as things ferment, but it doesn't let air in. I do have those too for wide mouth mason jars. Okay, so three more things that we can do for our health, not only in postpartum, but like all human beings should be doing these things at all time, but especially in that postpartum season when maybe you're dealing with some wild like hormonal fluctuations or just feeling really off, is to get outside, breathe fresh air, get some sunlight on your skin in the midday hours, and get your bare feet on the ground. Those three things, grounding, fresh air, and sunlight, are so therapeutic, some of the best medicine. And ladies, I'm 35. Like, I have a almost teenage son. I don't wear bikinis out in public, but I do still have a couple. And that is because getting sunlight on your midsection is especially great for gut healing. I think Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride actually has a discussion where she addressed that, like 15 to 20 minutes even of your abdomen exposed to the midday sun can kill candida. So that's pretty fascinating, right? You'll have to check me on that. Go ahead and look that up. I know I've looked it up before and I was able to find that. Now, I know, when I start talking about these things, it can start to feel like a big checklist of like, oh, I have to do this today. I have to get my sunlight. I have to get my feet on the ground. I have to eat this. I have to do that. And I get it, especially when you're postpartum and when you feel like you just don't have enough like hands to go around. But I really would encourage you not to view it as a checklist, but as a lifestyle. And don't stress about it on the days where it doesn't happen, on the days where the baby is going through a growth spurt and cluster feeding and you just barely got out of your chair or something. Just don't stress about it because stress isn't helpful either. I can really find myself in these thought patterns of just trying to figure out how to have the perfect life. And I don't mean that I'm like trying to have like the aesthetically perfect life. That's not what I'm saying. But how to solve every problem to where every day everything goes smoothly and everything gets done. But that is so unrealistic to be over analyzing every day, saying like, oh, well, if I would have done this, or how could I improve on that? Or, to a certain level, I guess it's good. We want to make sure that we're efficient, we're taking care of ourselves and our family and all that. But even Jesus said, tomorrow has its own worries. Just worry about today. We need to focus on our daily bread. And I can definitely use that reminder a lot. Okay, so the crock pot pork roast that I put in earlier is ready to go. And the crock pot is just so magical. I don't know why I don't use it more often. Maybe because it lives in my like lazy Susan and it's just not in a place where I see it a lot, so I don't think of it. But it's just great, it's very quick to put something in there and then walk away, forget about it, and it's done at the end of the day. So this recipe will be on the blog. Turned out delicious. This is my favorite way to make a pork roast. We've smoked them before, and I usually really like smoking big cuts of meat, but it just didn't turn out as good as it does in the crock pot. So I think we're just going to stick with this when we have pork roasts. Now I'm going to be fast forwarding a couple of weeks actually, because that is ideally how long you want your sauerkraut to ferment at room temperature on your countertop, which all you're doing that whole time is just every day or two, you just make sure it gets a little bit of air. If you have a fermentation lid, then you don't have to do that because, air is getting out, but you do have to burp it here and there if you don't have a fermentation lid. So that's all I did. It's a couple weeks later and my sauerkraut is ready to go. I've taken some out a few times before like the 2 or 3 weeks was up because I just wanted some and I was out of sauerkraut. So I am heating up a bowl of my, go-to gut healing soup, the recipe that's on my blog. You guys know that I keep a big pot of that in the fridge when I'm going through one of these autoimmune flares. It's like a comfort and security to me to know that I have something on hand that I can eat at all times. So I a lot of times will put some sauerkraut in my bowl of soup. And, another thing that I've been doing, which I'm well over 2 months into the gut healing process, so feeling, really, really good most days. And I've been adding in some habanero hot sauce into my daily bowl of soup as well, just for the therapeutic effects of capsaicin. Regular consumption of capsaicin has such great anti-inflammatory effects, and it also can help with appetite control and regulation. It can help with diversity of species, beneficial species in the microbiome. So I don't know, if you don't like hot sauce, then obviously don't force it. But I love hot and spicy anything, and this isn't something that I would have tolerated right at the very beginning of this gut healing process. That would have been horrible to me to have like habanero sauce, but I'm feeling it now. It's going over great. So this is like my move at lunch almost every day. I have a bowl of my soup, a nice helping of kraut on top, and some habanero sauce. And to me, it is delicious. All right, well, that's it. Those are my, comments as far as the biggest mistakes that can be made in the postpartum season as far as health. If you have some tips for new moms, like mistakes to avoid, please drop them in the comments section. And while you're there, don't forget to check out the offer that Thrive Market has for Hopewell Heights subscribers. All right, well, I will see you all next week.